Assalamu alaikum, good evening. Okay, guys, warmly welcome for another important training day for health and safety, especially related to USA-based OSHA regulations. So, as usual, I planned another question of the day, just to have some open discussion, especially relevant to safety and health programs. Usually our customers or sometimes the regulatory bodies, they ask, okay, show us or send us, your last 3 years record, safety records, or last 2 years, or maybe 1 year, just to see either you have some level of compliance related to legal laws and even to the COC, like customer code of conduct. And also, are you following some international standards? Yes or no? So through objective evidences, through some records, they can evaluate. We call it a kind of a mock audit also. Like you will submit all your documents and records, and immediately by having 2-3 hours table talk, we can immediately evaluate, what level of safety program or kind of a safety system you have at your site or within your company. Now the question is, if your client asks you to submit last 3 years safety records, so what kind of records you will be submitting actually? Imagine Saudi Aramco is asking, okay, send us your last 2 years safety records or 3 years safety records. So my point is, what kind of records you are going to submit? Anybody have any idea, or otherwise I'll explain further inshallah. And to be very honest, customer have this straightforward right to ask, either do you have some kind of safety policies, just an example, or some set of procedures?
Yeah, we will submit the audit report, sir. We keep all the audit report and submit to the company.
Okay.
They are asked for the check, checklist, all of the audits, all the observations, rectifications, all the certification of the people, those who are working our project. We will keep this whole record to be end of the project.
And why customer is asking this record? Because, yeah. Because instead of visiting your site directly, mostly the client, they try their level best to, request some documentation or kind of records from the same contractor, or, and they could have some initial assessment about your company, about your HSE safety system or kind of programs, And now we truly need to understand, because this is today's our topic, safety and health programs. Now the point is, what is health and safety program? How would we define it? Because safety records, of course, whatever document you are filling within your company mostly would be required, in terms of, like, if you have daily safety inspections, it's a record. If you have daily inspection record of your heavy equipments, again, it's a record. If you have some internal audits related to safety, again, it's a record that you can submit. If you have some approved policies, procedures, kind of SOPs, same like you mentioned, also external audit reports. So record submission and preparing a list of records is something entirely, right after implementation of the program would be started automatically, because the moment you implement some formats and people start filling it and they are using on different processes, of course the records would be developing day by day. The point is, what is health and safety program? That is our today's key topic. How would we define? So remember, guys, this health and safety program basically is a kind of directional action plans in terms of because our safety policy is a framework. So through this framework, we are proving that yes, we have a clear action arm to actually, before we perform any activity or any process, we know how to, what kind of safety policies or procedures we need to follow. So that means it's a combination of complete kind of policies, procedures, and formats you implemented. And on the other side, health and safety program, we can call health and safety management system as well. And system is the integration of several elements, like if you are providing internal safety trainings, this is also part of your health and safety management system. If you are conducting some safety audits, again, it's part of your health and safety programs or a health and safety management system. So it's all a game of effective HSC programs, whatever you implemented. And mostly companies, let me give you an example, especially the global brands like Coca-Cola, they mostly prefer to have their own set of procedures, And what they sometimes claim, our procedures are more reliable than any other international brand or kind of other institutional regulatory bodies even, Because what they believe is we develop this structural system and there isn't any violation of legal laws or our customer defined, the consumer protection standards. We covered everything within our system. So that means your program, your health and safety program or health and safety system is a guarantee that you are a responsible company, you are a responsible entity or kind of contractor who definitely does everything by saving environment, by not killing their employees, by saving the company property and also the business goodwill. And on the biggest phenomena, what I personally noted for the last 19 years as per my experience, mostly they don't want to compromise with safety, quality and credibility. Most of the global brands, they don't want to compromise with these three words like safety, quality and credibility. Ready to prepare. Okay guys, any confusion there? Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, so my voice is clear or what is the level of speed of my...
Yes, clear, sir.
Is it okay?
Clear, sir.
Or just stop me because sometimes I speak a little faster. So that's why I'm getting feedback. If you believe it is quite normal, so I can keep continuing. But any company without health and safety programs or without health and safety management system would be facing a lot of business development or business expansion challenges, because nobody wants such contractors or even the vendors not having health and safety management systems well implemented. It's not like only the documentation or kind of because records means you can make fake records as well, right? But once you submitted these records, the customer trusted and they believe that this is true, that you have this system well implemented within your company at your project site. Now, what customer have a right to visit your site or conduct a second party audit through some different certification bodies? Might be they can send SGS auditors, might be they can send Intertech auditors, or maybe AJA or some other certification bodies are there. Or they could have their own internal auditors, as a customer. And why they want to audit? Just to reconfirm, to revalidate that whatever safety records you submitted to them during bidding process or even after that, whatever. And now they really want to see on-site improvements, the system, whatever you submitted is well implemented and being followed and being maintained also in all functions of the business unit. Like if you submitted, the risk assessments are being carried out, and this is the risk assessment. Now they have a right to double check, either it is being reviewed and the relevant employees are get involved, or it is being done only by the safety officers. They have that right actually. Same way, if you submitted some records that you have 0% injuries for the last 2 years, they have right to check, the hand injuries by checking the hands of the employees. They can check through some live interviews with the employees, because they truly need to verify that whatever records you submitted are not the fake one actually. And if customer noted that you submitted fake records or it was just like a formality to be fulfilled, the trust will be broken. And I always mention the problem with the trust is, if it is once broken, it's broken forever. That is why the brands, the global brands like Saudi Aramco or any other, they are very much concerned about their brand goodwill. That is why they talk about safety, 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 safety first, safety always. Why they talk about all these things? Because they don't want to demolish their brand goodwill also. Because they know it have multi-million-dollar, kind of strength in the market. And forget about brand's goodwill, even our individual goodwill, your goodwill as an individual professional, within your company matters a lot. If you don't care about your positive goodwill as an individual professional, it's a huge gap, trust me. A time will come, company would have no issue to take immediate action. Okay, we don't need you, Mr. ABC, because you are not loyal, you are not honest, you don't deserve this position, because you didn't you didn't maintain your goodwill actually. And this is happening, by the way, especially a lot of professionals are exposed during this pandemic, during this COVID-19 disaster. Like the leadership in normal age, the leadership in good times, everyone can be a better leader, right? In good times. But your real test is the moment your organization is facing crisis or any disasters because of some unforeseen situations like COVID pandemic and a lot of other issues sometimes we face. That is the time your leadership should be, competent enough to regain or re-maintain your business functions actually. And the real leader, a lot of new leaders are invented during this time also. Like most of the business community people, they were thinking this pandemic, our business is over. 99% I can claim the business community, they were thinking our business is finished. But there were some businessmen or kind of business leaders who thought, and they are almost 1% overall, and what they were thinking, yes, there is a bad time, but this is a good opportunity time, because 99% are thinking that this time is damaging their business, but 1% they are thinking this is the time to prove our business leadership. This is the time to improve our internal health and safety programs. This is the time to train our employees to make them more competent. This is the time to share with our customers our real feelings that we are with you, especially during this bad times, So the companies who truly showed their, trustworthy leadership, I would say, they are quite successful even during this pandemic. And some of the new brands also we noted, especially in digitalization, like Zoom. Let's take an example of Zoom. This application is everywhere, is being used, and how much money they made. All digital brands, they got immense, revenue generated during this pandemic. Think about pharmaceutical company, their share got up immediately because of this pandemic. Think about the food companies, because mostly people, they were staying at home. Even nowadays, mostly we all are working from home wherever is possible. So the more you stay at home, that means more you have job to eat and sleep and work, right? That means the consumption of food will be more. So the food companies, they also made a lot of profits. Same way, think about the logistic companies, Think about e-commerce business, we call it drop shipping as well. Like you are buying products from one side and delivering to the other side, while you are not making any products, you are not manufacturer, you are just a middleman and making, a lot of money actually. Because you trust, first of all, to your leadership skills. And that was the time to show your real leadership. And the same way, in safety department, there are a lot of safety professionals. Okay, is my voice clear, please? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, your voice is noisy.
So I hope, guys, you would have understood that the real leadership always will be exposed in bad times, in crisis period, of the business, including safety leadership. Like there is safety leadership during this pandemic, they improved a lot of their knowledge, their competence level. They went for different certifications. They utilized this spare time because mostly people were locked at home, and they utilized this time to be more better professional, just to be more qualified, because already the experience is there. So they went for certain global qualifications, and now they are, right, in the right set of earning, and right set of skills are there, and now they are the right person for the right job, because according to the abrupt changes, you need to upgrade yourself. And same way, we need to keep updated our health and safety programs. Our health and safety programs must be updated. That is why revision is important. Like if you have a safety policy, and for the last 3 years, no one review it, and it's the same policy. And even you conducted management review meetings at least every year, but you didn't consider safety policy to be reviewed. Even a lot of new legal laws came in, a lot of drastic changes happened in technology based and all that, but you didn't review your safety policy. So it's a huge gap. If you have any kind of safety documentation must be reviewed, like your all policies, procedures, SOPs, your safety manuals, kind of formats, no harm to review them. Then you can get a lot of benefits of effective safety health programs, because it will reduce your work related injuries and illnesses, improve morale and productivity, reduce workers compensation cost as well. Like let's take an example of Saudi Aramco. Per year, $2.5 billion they are paying in compensation, insurance claims, and if they can, and unforeseen injuries, if they could have saved that much money per year, how many new projects Saudi Aramco can initiate, because $2.5 billion is a huge amount, right? But anyhow, we truly need to understand what are the major elements of health and safety program. And effective occupational safety and health program includes the following four elements. Number one, we need management commitment and employee involvement. And the evidence of management commitment, they have to lead by example. It's not like just signing safety policy and their commitment is there. And they didn't study even for a single time what is written inside this safety policy. What I mean is they have to lead by example. They have to visit the sites and wear PPEs, follow safety rules and regulations, and they have to be like a role model, And then trickle down positive effect will be there. Same way, we have to get involved all the employees, janitor to general manager. Like I mentioned many times, that everyone is responsible for safety. Everyone. No one can say that safety is not my responsibility. Same way, work site analysis are important, hazard prevention and control, safety and health training is critical. Because like if you have policies, procedures, a lot of new methodologies, but no training, then the implementation wouldn't be so effective. And what is management commitment and employee involvement? That means there are complementary elements. Management commitment provides motivation and resources, and employee involvement, of course, allows workers to develop and express commitment to health and safety programs. Yes, there must be some clearly stated worksite safety and health policy. It's a framework, it's a kind of promise as well, because the top management is signing it, like the general manager or managing director or the CEO of the company. If they have signed this policy, that means it's kind of a promise, it's kind of a commitment that we will not violate legal laws. We will make sure 100% safety of our employees. We'll ensure that all the appropriate suitable PPEs are well provided. We'll make sure, no damage to the environment. We'll ensure better safety of our properties. And we'll make sure our business is in safe hands all the time. That means it's a kind of strong commitment. It's a kind of promise which you are sharing with all your stakeholders. Now, establish and communicate a clear goal and objective for the safety and health programs is critical, because there must be some safety objectives clearly defined, like comparing to 2020 and 2021, we will reduce 20% injuries. Oh, backbone injuries. Or in comparing to 2020, will make sure in 2021 50% reduction in major incidents. So that means you have to clearly define your objectives. Like one of the objectives you can create 100% safety trainings, whatever we planned for 2021, comparing to 2020 as well. So that means your objective must be smart, must be measurable actually. And yes, you need to involve top management in implementing the program. Without top management commitment, it wouldn't be easier. Like yesterday, even we discussed, how much safety budget is important and your convincing power for the management. Now, what is employee involvement? You need to be an encourager, because you need to encourage your employees, please get involved for health and safety programs and be involved in certain decisions, which can affect health and safety as a whole, and also communicate responsibility for all program aspects. Clearly define their responsibilities. Oh, this is your responsibility. If they are not trained for this particular responsibility, please train them. And what is the responsibility? That is like parties responsible for the safety and health program must have authority and resources. Same like yesterday I discussed. If you have responsibilities but no authorities or no required resources, then you can't be accountable. So if company wants you to be accountable, then they have to make sure the responsibilities are clearly defined, authorities are given, and also required resources are well provided. then of course we can't give any excuse. We'll be accountable as a leader, as a safety leader or as a quality leader, whatever position you have. Program operations must be reviewed at least annually to evaluate, identify deficiencies and revise as needed. So responsibilities must be clearly defined. Worksite analysis, of course, they are also important. Examine the worksite and identify existing hazards. That is why yesterday in construction industry, we did some practice, how to identify the hazards, especially at the construction sites, or any kind of conditions and operations which can, of course, create certain kind of incidents, or they are part of the hazards methodologies. Now, management must actively analyze the work and the work site to anticipate and prevent harmful occurrences. Like one-time mistake, of course, is a source of learning, but the same mistake, if someone is repeating, or same injury, same incident at the same process, that means it's became like habitual or kind of intentional. We can't say, oh, it's mistake only. Yes, first time mistake is okay because it's a source of learning. We are human and human error is there. But same mistakes or repeated mistakes at the same process, of course, would be considered intentional at some level. Now, comprehensive survey must be there, like conduct a comprehensive baseline survey for safety and health, job hazard analysis like JHA or job safety analysis. Who may help? OSHA consultation program, insurance companies, even consultants you can hire. They can come, like many companies, they hire us just as a gap analyzer. They want us to analyze their system, existing system, and see where we are standing in safety, health, environment, CSR, or some other programs. And we just prepare a gap analysis report and share with the top management. Now that is up to them what actions they're going to take, even though we propose actions along with the gaps. Same way, several companies hire us just as a risk assessment practitioner. They just want us to conduct comprehensive risk assessment in coordination with all the employees or the right set of functions. Yes, safety and health inspections is an important ingredient of health and safety program, because it will help us to conduct regular, usually weekly site inspections, establish daily work area inspection procedures, develop and use a checklist. And I always mention, no harm to keep a checklist of everything, like checklist of your forklifts, your cranes, like all heavy equipments, checklist, separate checklist for your generators, your compressors, your lifting gears, for rigging and lifting you are using. No harm to have a checklist for your fire extinguishers, your first aid boxes, even pre-excavation checklist. Several checklists already we have, especially in Saudi Aramco. And also, we must provide a reliable system for employees without fear of reprisal to notify management about apparent hazardous condition that will receive timely and appropriate responses. Now, additional worksite analysis, we have to be, competent enough to investigate accidents and near misses incidents so that their causes and means for prevention are identified. Sometimes I noted we don't take seriously the near misses. And if you are ignoring near misses, that means you are very near to, or maybe one step away from fatal incidents or accidents. That is why the near misses must also be interrogated, investigated, and take some corrective preventive actions to make sure it shouldn't lead to any incident actually. And yes, analyze injury and illness trends so that common cause patterns can be identified and prevented. Your first aid records is very much important. And I personally noted people don't report minor injuries, like if they have cut because of any sharp edge, immediately they have bandage in their pocket and immediately they'll wrap up, they'll wear the gloves, they'll not report actually. So how, if unreported cases are there, that means your analysis would not be so much effective, because a lot of fake records are reported, or a lot of unreported cases are there. Like you have headache, like reported to the first aid for 500 times, but in your record it's only for 200 times. That means intentionally you also missed to record some, like you gave several first aid treatments to several employees, but you recorded very few. And I have seen this being an auditor, in different companies. No, hazard prevention and control is kind of a start by determining that a hazard or potential hazards exist, where feasible prevent hazards by effective design of job or job site. If the hazard cannot be eliminated, use hazard control. Eliminate or control hazards is a timely manner, very much important. How we can control the hazards as per OSHA? To prevent and control hazards, apply engineering controls. And under engineering, you can take even elimination, isolation, or even some other engineering patterns. Like if guard is missing, you can put the guard. Is kind of engineering control. Same way, you can make some rules, regulations, training, safety meetings, warning signs, all comes under administrative control. And once you have done engineering and administrative, both are tried, now this is a time to go for PPs, the right set of appropriate PPs. And safe work practice communicated like via training, positive reinforcement, correction of unsafe performance, and enforcement. And how we can have a hazard prevention planning, maintain the facility and equipment, emergency planning like training and drills, same like yesterday I discussed, practice makes a man perfect. So the more evacuation drills you have, more practice drills you have, of course, you will get better response in case of emergency from all the employees. Otherwise, like Saudi Aramco, still they evaluated several people, they don't know what is emergency, what to do in an emergency, because no drills, no proper trainings are given. No medical program, first aid on site, physicians and emergency care nearby must be available. Yes, health and safety training, we discussed several times, is very much important. Orientation kind of induction program must be there, especially before even you send anyone to the job or at the project site. Make sure you have given them detailed orientation or kind of induction, so they must understood how many muster points are there, what are prohibited areas, how many chemical are being used, what kind of PPs they have to use, what kind of alarm system you have there. In case of emergency, what exactly they have to do, and how to call 911, like helplines and all. So if you will not give them proper induction or kind of orientation, they'll be doing a lot of silly things, in case of emergency. Yes, supervisor responsibilities is analyze work to identify potential hazards and areas of responsibility, maintain physical protection in work areas, reinforce employee training through performance feedback, and if needed, enforcement of safe work practices is critical. Specific training needs, like make sure at least these trainings you must provide to your employees, like hazard recognition, training required in standards, emergency response, accident investigation, and emergency drills. So the summary of this module is that effective worker safety and health programs can definitely help us to reduce work-related injuries and illnesses, improve morale and productivity, reduce workers' compensation costs, include these four elements: management commitment and employee involvement, worksite analysis, hazard prevention and control, and safety and health training. So ultimately, the programs must be productive, effective, and beneficial for the business. Otherwise, what is the the role of these programs if we'll not get any benefit? Now I have one competition, and I hope you will participate and with better approach. And let me see how you will respond to those questions.